Hi, my name is Eliza. Everything was supposed to be perfect. I had planned my wedding for almost a year. Every little detail had been chosen with care, from the lace on my dress to the flower petals scattered along the aisle. I had imagined this day 1,000 times. I pictured myself walking slowly toward James, my fiancé, with music playing softly and tears in his eyes as he saw me in white. My friends told me I was glowing. My mom kept crying, telling me how proud she was. It was the happiest morning of my life. The sun was shining, and everything felt magical. My bridesmaids helped me into my dress, and I remember standing in front of the mirror, unable to believe the woman looking back at me was really me. I looked beautiful, but more than that, I felt hopeful. I truly believed this was the beginning of forever. Guests arrived. The music started. People were seated. I waited behind the door with my heart beating faster than ever before. Then someone gave the signal. It was time. My father took my arm, and the doors opened. I stepped into the room filled with people I loved, walking slowly, smiling at the faces, eyes only searching for one person, James. But he wasn't there. At first, I thought maybe he was just late. Maybe something had delayed him. Traffic. A call. Nerves. Anything. But the look on the faces of his groomsmen said something else. They were whispering. They looked confused. Worried. I kept walking. But when I reached the altar, it was empty. The priest stepped forward awkwardly. One of James's friends came up to me and leaned in to whisper something. I didn't hear all of it. Just a few words stuck in my mind. He's gone, he left. My hands went cold. I blinked. I laughed, not because it was funny, but because it didn't feel real. I thought maybe it was a cruel joke. A prank. Some kind of stupid mistake. I turned around, looking at everyone, waiting for someone to say, "Just kidding." But no one did. James had left. He had walked out, just moments before the ceremony began. No message. No goodbye. Just disappeared. I stood there frozen, not knowing what to do. My heart was pounding. My legs felt weak. The music stopped. People started whispering. Some guests got up. Others just stared at me with pity. My mom ran toward me, her face pale. My dad stood beside me, speechless. I couldn't speak either. I just stood there, still holding my bouquet, still waiting for a man who had already left me behind. Later, I found out he had left a note. Not to me, but to his best friend. The note was short. It said he wasn't ready. That he was scared. That he didn't want to hurt me but couldn't go through with it. He didn't even have the courage to say it to my face. Hours passed in a blur. Guests slowly left. The decorations were still hanging. The cake was untouched. The hall was too quiet. I remember sitting alone in the bride's room, still in my dress, staring at the floor. I didn't cry at first. I was numb. I felt like I was watching a movie, a sad movie where the bride gets left behind and the ending is not happy. I didn't sleep that night. I just lay on my bed, staring at the ceiling, asking myself the same question over and over again, why? Was I not enough? Did I do something wrong? Had he been planning this for weeks? Had he ever really loved me? The days that followed were worse. Every phone call, every message was someone asking, "Are you okay?" And I didn't know how to answer. I wasn't okay. I was embarrassed. Heartbroken. Angry. And worst of all, I still loved him. I hated myself for that. I couldn't go outside for weeks. I felt like everyone was staring at me, talking about me. Even though my friends tried to comfort me, their words didn't help. Nothing did. I deleted all our pictures. I boxed up the wedding gifts. I gave the dress away. I stopped listening to music, stopped going out, stopped dreaming. Because the truth was, the man I thought I knew, the man I was ready to give my whole life to, walked away without even turning back. And now, I had to figure out who I was without him. After months of silence and pain, I slowly learned how to live again. The shame of being left on my wedding day was not something that disappeared easily. At first, I couldn't look at myself in the mirror. I felt like I had done something wrong, even though deep down I knew it wasn't my fault. Every time I stepped outside, I imagined people whispering about me, judging me. I avoided friends, family, and social media. I needed space. I needed to breathe. I moved to a new apartment on the other side of town. It was small, quiet, and it felt like a place where I could rebuild. I started going for early morning walks just to feel something again. The sunrises slowly began to matter. I listened to the sound of birds, the wind in the trees. These small things became my healing rituals. I began journaling, writing down all the anger and sadness. I wrote letters I never sent. Letters to him. To myself. To the version of me who thought love was forever. And slowly, the pain became something I could carry, instead of something that crushed me. Months turned into a year. I focused on my career. I poured myself into work and finally opened that little home bakery I always dreamed about. I called it Second Morning. It was a name that meant everything to me. A second morning after the darkest night. It was at the bakery that I first saw him. Jack. He came in on a rainy Tuesday afternoon, soaked and smiling, looking for something sweet after a rough meeting. He asked for a blueberry muffin and a hot tea. I remember his voice, gentle but certain. His eyes met mine only briefly, but something about that glance stayed with me long after he left. At first, I told myself not to notice. I wasn't ready. I didn't believe in happy endings anymore. But Jack became a regular. Every week, sometimes twice a week. He always had kind words and a warm smile. We never spoke for more than a few minutes, just light conversation, about the weather, the city, the pastries. But I started to look forward to those few minutes more than I wanted to admit. One day, he brought in a book for me. He said it reminded him of the way I spoke about baking. I was surprised. I didn't think he was really listening, but clearly, he was. That small gesture opened a door I had closed a long time ago. I started smiling more, laughing again. I didn't notice it at first, but others did. Over time, we began to talk more. He told me about his love for writing, how he used to dream of publishing a novel. I shared my own story too, not all of it, but enough to let him see that I had been hurt. And he listened, without judgment, without trying to fix anything. He just sat with me in my truth. He never rushed me. He never pushed for more than I could give. That patience was what broke the walls around my heart. I started looking forward to his visits not because he was charming or attractive, but because he made me feel seen. Eventually, he asked if I wanted to go for a walk in the park after work. Just a walk, nothing more. I agreed, cautiously. That first walk turned into many. Some were filled with deep conversation, others with simple silence. But through them, I felt something I hadn't in a long time, peace. Jack never asked about my past, but when I was ready, I told him. I told him everything. He didn't look away. He didn't flinch. He said he was sorry for what I went through, but he didn't treat me like I was broken. That mattered more than I can explain. Months passed, and our friendship grew into something deeper. It wasn't a fireworks kind of love.